Going to start out this interview with a little story about the very first year they had the race in downtown Wenatchee. I'm talking, of course, about the downtown criterium put on by Rookard pools. Rookard pools, by the way, they make great pools. We were having a good time here in the beer garden. It was very warm, very pleasant spring evening. It got a little not crazy, but it was a little too crowded for comfort in the beer garden. We went out to take a breather. We looked down at Rondo Street. What the heck is going on down there? We go down to check out the bicyclists, and we were hooked. And before you know it, my friend, we had a better time down there, downtown, than we had up at the beer garden, because this is entertaining, fast racing. Introduce yourself to our television family.
My name is Steve Johnston. I will be, I guess, the voice of the criterium. I'll be on the mic, join my buddy here, Craig, still. Craig is my color guy. He'll do all the interviews in the streets, talk to the racers, and just tell the story of the race from the racer's perspective, while I just try and call the action as it comes live.
You guys created a monster, because that first year was such a phenomenal success that I've been back every year.
Well, I'm really super stoked to hear that. You know, there was some stumbling blocks before we actually moved it to Apple Blossom and right down the avenue where we were at. Our previous location was more south of town, or south of the avenue, and we used Columbia Street. It was a horrible pavement down there. In fact, I had a racer undress me one day and tell me how dangerous our race was. But anyway, it's been just a pleasure and just a huge thing for us to move down the avenue and have it on Apple Blossom. I don't know, it's just wonderful. And we're happy that the city has embraced us, and Apple Blossom as well.
Pass your mic over for just a minute to Mr. Craig. These guys, first thing we noticed when we saw the very first downtown, these guys are fast. I mean, and gals too. They are fast, amateurs or pros. They are just smoking around downtown.
Yeah, and our course it's one of the fastest crit courses that you'll see in anywhere. And yeah, so it's a pretty exciting, electric thing for bike racing. Bike racing generally isn't a great spectator sport, okay? Generally on a stage like, say, up in Waterville, or even at the Ed Ferris stage, bike racers take off. You may not see them for 45 minutes. That's not the case in downtown Wenatchee. You're going to see them every minute in the elite fields, and a little bit slower on the other fields, but the racing is fantastic. What we try to do is we try to sort of paint a picture of really what's going on in that race and how it affects the general classification and that type of thing. And most of the time we can get a feel for what's really happening, what's playing out, how the teams are interacting, how trying to protect their guy or their gal and to get them to the finish line quicker. I will say this, in the later fields, the last two especially, the elite women and the elite men, they come so fast. Even for us on an elevated platform, it's hard to see really what's going on in the race.
You guys will be set up right at the start-finish line, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Any kind of pushback, and I'll ask you, any kind of pushback, oh, by the way, Darcy, we want to take it downtown, which means we have to close a 4-block section of downtown on a Saturday night of Apple Blossom. Was that like, you know what, I'm all for it?
Yeah, I don't think we got any pushback from Darcy. And in fact, I'll just state that the Wenatchee Police Department, they loved it. The very first year that we held the race on the avenue, they called us afterwards, or we were in their after-action meeting, and they said they went to normal staffing by 10 o'clock that night on Apple Blossom, which was unheard of previous. So they like it. Unfortunately for some people, it shut down the cruising, but I mean, we kind of take over the avenue.
No, it didn't. It's now just two-wheel cruising real fast.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Out the beads.
Yeah. Talk about, you mentioned about every minute they come by again, and they do, but you got plenty of things to do in the 45 seconds while you're waiting for the racers to come by. There's refreshments, shall we say.
Yep. The craft cannabis beer garden is at the start-finish line. We have, just bumping tunes down there. We kind of try and create a party atmosphere.
You do it well.
For the spectators and the racers. The racers really love it because every time they come by the beer garden, a roar usually goes up, and Craig and I try and stoke that fire. And cowbells. That's what bring those and just have fun with it. Craig, anything to add?
Well, we've traveled around the Pacific Northwest a lot as a race committee, and so we've been to a lot of races, and we always go there with the idea of, hey, let's focus on the things that these guys are doing right and glean some of that and bring it home to us, right? And I'll tell you what, when it comes to the criterium, our criterium is the funnest, it's the fastest, it's the most exciting. It has a vibe like no other bike race, local, regional, whatever bike race that I've ever been to.
The races start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's pretty continuous. If you really want to watch the best of the best, the fastest of the fastest, they get going about 8 o'clock on Saturday night?
Yep, about 8 o'clock will be our elite women. Elite men, it start at 9. So as you can probably imagine, the final races take place under the lights, which adds to the complete ambiance of our event and really makes it a spectacle for the bike racers themselves and anybody in attendance. It really makes it a special event.
Between you and Craig and Ace and everybody else, I'll ask you both of this. How many hours, how many people are involved in this? You got law enforcement running roadblocks, you have pilot cars, you got volunteers left, right, and everything. This has gotten big. I'll let you answer that one.
Well, I don't know how many hours Ace Bollinger clocks in for this, but it is amazing. Ace is so well known around the country as the race director of Tour de Bloom. Whenever we go to other races, people ask us, they hand their phones over and said, could you take a picture of us with Ace? So the guy's a complete rock star. He's changed not only the Tour de Bloom, but the Tour de Bloom is the blueprint for what races around the country look at as they're trying to build their race. Anyway, I'll get back. That's just Ace. We have a pretty committed race committee that works on this year round.
They should be committed, all the hours they put in.
Yeah. But our next level of people, our drivers, our course marshals, our host housing coordinator, these are the people that honestly, we're the envy of the race community because of the commitment that we have from our volunteers and our leads in that. It's fantastic. And Steve, I'll hand it over.
You saw the videos during the interview. They're all spectator friendly, not quite like the downtown, but they're all spectator friendly. You're more than welcome to go out and watch any of these events. You saw the videos. They don't do it justice. To see it in person as a whip around downtown Wenatchee is the only way to do it. You'll be hooked because I'll be hooked, and I'll see you guys come Saturday night.
Awesome, Dan. Glad to have you down there.
You're watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, gentlemen. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we'll be right back.